So this year has really been an interesting time for me to reflect in some of my practice that I've been using for the past several decades. Um, Experiencing more student distraction, more students being absent. So a couple of things that I've tried and that have worked for me that I'm perfectly happy to share with you. One of the themes that works for me is I call it consistency. So I will start a Google Slides each Monday. And in the consistency part, I mean, I have an introductory slide where the students can count on different pieces of practice. Obviously, teaching a world language, I want them to practice different parts of the language. And so I always have the date. I always have the countdown of the number of days of school. I usually try to include something that will allow them to utilize vocabulary. So our latest vocabulary happened to deal with weather and spring. And then we'll go around the room usually and do a quick share of different topics, anybody that'd like to share. And that seems to work. Now I do this every single day, but I will change up, obviously, the questions and some of the prompts. Each day I also do something called a culture connect. And so the students know to expect this. One of the things that works for me is to try and bring in very current topics, especially as they fit with the vocabulary that we're working on for that particular year, week or unit. And so we'll watch a video and it will include American Sign Language, which is the course that I teach. And again, each day the students can count on getting some kind of a culture connect where they're able to see Native people signing in their native language. Oftentimes I'll do a review. I'll do an intro of new words. Each Friday we have a quiz. Again, that's another piece of what I call the consistency so that students can count on certain things. But I've also come to find that students can get very complacent if you do too many things over and over and over. So I try to keep the consistency with the slideshow, and I will post this slideshow for them. As you can see, it rolled from Monday right into Tuesday. Tuesday rolls into Wednesday, and I don't type over. I just keep this scrolling PowerPoint. Again, Culture Connects, lots of things related to current events this past week. And then I usually have the students be aware of what their next or last piece is within the classroom. And this consistency piece gets posted on Classroom. So that way the students have access to everything that we did throughout the entire week. So if you were absent on Wednesday or you came in late on Friday, you are still able to see what we did that day, the previous day, throughout the week, because on Friday we'll have the quiz. So I call that sort of the consistency piece. But again, having students get too complacent because they know what to expect, I try to temper that with choice. So the next thing I try to focus on is choice. And again, I try to link everything in their Google Classroom page so that they can readily find the Google slideshow for the week. I make videos of the vocabulary being signed so that the students have access 24/7 if they wanted to practice or they forgot how to sign one of the vocabulary words. And I also provide any links to things that we might be using throughout the rest of the week. The choice piece, whenever I can, I try and encourage students to, in this case, we were looking at countries, territories, states, etc., and encourage the kids to think of a place that they would like to come up and teach us the sign for. And that way it allows them, if they have a particular interest, maybe in a place they want to visit or something that has to do with their heritage, they can choose that. And then we just go around the room, and in a style of, vocabulary teaching, we will have the student teach the rest of the class the country/territory that they selected. So I find that giving student choices whenever possible is also something that will keep their interest perhaps over, a week or so. The last thing I was really thinking of when I was asked to share some of the things that I do to engage students is, again, with the choice, but also mixing things up. And so in addition to your typical classroom discussions, and we have we'll have maybe a worksheet that you answer some questions based on a video. I also try and include videos where my students can actually make a product. This happened to be something called an ABC story, where each student or team of students, I try to give them options there as well, created a video project. And again, it included choice, but it also included certain parameters where I gave them the rubric, and they needed to make their story fit into the rubric. And making a video is something a little out of the ordinary, very time consuming to grade, clearly. And I wouldn't be able to do this every week per se, but this was a project that we did in Q3. And they like, I think, mixing up the different modalities of assessments and teaching and learning. So really, I would just bring it all back together by saying the consistency, mixing it with variety. So they have to watch a video, they have to make a video. Here, the students created a vocabulary video, giving them choice. And then I find that giving students ownership by having all of these things in one place for them over the week, it allows them to decide where they'd like to go. What do I need more practice with? What would I like to watch or rewatch before the quiz on Friday? So I hope some of this helps, and have a wonderful rest of the school year.